Hi, my name is Amanda Batek and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm also known as the Hoppy Stamper. Why? Because I like stamping and I like frogs ever since I was a young child. So today I'm going to show you how to make these cute little notepad holders that make a great gift for somebody. They can be as easy or as intricate as you want them to be, but at the heart it's very, very simple. And they open up like this. And you have just a little notepad in there that you can buy from the dollar store or wherever you wish. And it's a great way to use up either designer series paper that you might have lying around, or you can, there's a few other variations with stamping or embossing that you can do as well. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. So again, these are the little notepad holders that we're going to make. This is a very simple design using designer series paper. It opens up. You can either have a magnetic closure for your notepad, and it also comes with two little pockets. Or you can make it with a belly band, which is what I'm going to do for ours in case you don't have a magnet. So I want to thank Deb Smeek, who I saw a YouTube tutorial where she made hers. And I've copied the dimensions from her. And again, you can make it as simple or as elaborate as you like. So these are designed to fit a 4x6 inch little notepad. So I just bought these at the dollar store. They came 3 packs for I think $1.25, which is very inexpensive. And these ones were 4 inches by 5.5 inches, but you could scale this a little bit bigger if you wanted to, but this size does fit a the 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock quite nicely. All right, so today I'm going to be making our design with a sweet citrus bundle. So there's a stamp set which you can make various citrus fruits and even coconuts if you want. There's a folder, an embossing folder that cuts out the different shapes, and I'll be showing you that. And then it comes with a set of dies as well. And there's some cute little flowers as well. So that is what I'll be using for today. In the link to the video, I will post a written tutorial for you to make this as well, should you want to. All right, so we're going to get started, and we're going to start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And today I'm going to be using the new color Lemon Lolly. And as you can see, it's quite, it's a nice soft pink, nice soft yellow. And so I'll show you how to make the folder for this out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So here are we're going to put the long side up against our trimmer, and here is the dimensions that we're going to score at. 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 3 3/4, and 6 inches, and then we will cut it at 10 1/4 inches. And then we'll do one more score line. So it's very straightforward. So I'm going to put up my arm of my trimmer, and of course this will both score and cut. So let's take that off and put that here. So we start at 1 1/4 inches, and we're going to score, which is the light color blade. Don't use the dark one. So 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 5 3/4, and 6 inches. And then we're gonna take it over to 10 1/4, which is the same as cutting off 3/4 of an inch from the end. Okay. So we've got 4 score lines. Then we're gonna rotate it to the right, although I'm not sure it really matters which way you rotate it. And then we're going to cut it, we're gonna score it one more time at 2 1/4. Let's get that blade out of the way. Okay, 2 1/4 inches. All right, so we're done with this. get it out of the way. All right, so we've got 4 score lines and a 5th one going across. All right, so there's a tiny corner here. The smallest corner we are going to cut out using scissors. All right, so I'll use my paper snips, and we'll just cut along the line. And then here I'm just going to cut just slightly more than the score line, although you can just do it right on there. Okay, and we're going to take out the one small corner. Okay. All right. Now we're going to make sure that we crease well all our score lines, all 5 of them. And the best way to do that is to use your bone folder. All right. So we've got this horizontal one. And I found that the best way, when you do the scoring, you'll have like a valley and a mountain, and you should have the valley or the indent be what you fold outwards. I don't know how to describe that. Anyway, it's kind of the opposite of what you would think. All right, so I'm gonna get all these good, sometimes it's easier. And one more. All right. Okay. And so what's going to end up happening is this 2 1/4 inch flap that we created is going to fold up, and those are going to be our pockets. And then this is going to be our front. Okay, and then this is going to be the flap that goes over top to close it. And that's going to get folded this way. Okay. All right, so that's our basic folder. All right, so we'll put that aside for now, and we'll come back to it when we have something to decorate it with. So again, today I'm going to use the Sweet Citrus stamp set. And so the first thing I'm going to do is use the embossing folder to, these are the directions of what we're going to need for, to decorate our folder. All right, so there's kind of 2 options here. One is to use straight up designer series paper, which sometimes we all have a lot of. And so this front panel would use a 4x6. This would use a 1x6 inch piece. And then if you wanted to decorate the inside of your little notepad, you could add, say, a 2x4 inch piece. I'm going to be using white paper today. And so the dimensions are the same. So we have a 4x6 inch piece, which I'm going to emboss with our embossing folder. And then I have a strip of 1x6 inch that I'm going to stamp. They always say measure twice, cut once. Okay, that fits there. All right. All right, so I'll show you what I'm gonna do for this. All right, first I'm going to emboss our 4" by 6" piece of paper. So this could be a piece of designer series paper. You could just randomly stamp all over it. I'm going to emboss this and use it on the front. All right, so the citrus folder comes with a set of dies. It's bundled together. And so what I'm going to do is run it through the cut and emboss machine, put the white cardstock in, use the base plate and the thick embossing plate here. All right, and I just run that through. And this is what we come back with. So it has these, yes, there's the embossed side. All right, it's this gorgeous detail, and really you don't need to do much more with that. So I'm going to end up putting that on the front here. You could also take a sponge and add some color to it if you want, but I think we'll be fine without it in this case. All right, so that's my 4 by 6 inch piece. Next, I'm going to create this side panel. So I have a 1 inch by 6 inch piece. So I could, I don't have designer series paper that coordinates with this, but what I'm going to do, and this is a great alternative, is just to stamp a few images and create your own paper. So for this card, this comes with flowers, stamps, and some leaves, and so I think that'll coordinate nicely with this. So I'm just going to randomly stamp some flowers in Flirty Flamingo and Granny Apple Green for my leaves. And I kept getting these two mixed up earlier today, so maybe let's see. It has these cute little flowers. We'll just stamp a few, and then we'll do some leaves in Granny Apple Green. And don't be afraid to stamp off or allow it to go across the edge. Oh, see, I nearly did it again. And there are little centers that we can add to our flowers. All right. And then I think I'll add a bit of green up here. And we'll add some more flowers at the bottom. Oh, I did it again. That's okay. All right. Make sure my stamp is clean. Yes. All right. All right, so we've got some flowers and some leaves, and that's just going to kind of complement that. All right, to clean the stamps, I'm going to use my Simply Chamois. It gives a satisfying squeaking sound. And you just kind of twist and rotate and rinse it with water when you're done. All right. All right, I'm done with the pink. I'll put that away. And I'm done with my green. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. The stamp set comes with some little centers. I've already mounted them on a thing here. So there's two little ones. They go with the little flowers. And if they're not perfect, that's fine. 2 little flowers. With the clear stamps, you can see what you're doing. Oh, I was off a little bit, but that's all right. And then there is a larger centerpiece, which is for the larger flower. It's not super important, but it adds a nice little touch. All right. So that's our little strip that's going to go on the side. And then I'm going to create some coordinating accents to go with this. All right, so we'll put that aside for now. So we're going to stamp some lemons. So you'll need a scrap of paper. And for this, I recommend, since these are photopolymer stamps and they don't have the same give that the red rubber stamps have, I recommend that you use the foam mat, the Stampin' Piercing mat, and you'll get a slightly better impression. All right, so for the lemons, the stamp set is a little bit unique in that it's got four images all tethered together, and that's for the inside and the outside. Well, the inside is only 3. And this means that you can kind of stamp 3 for 1 at once. All right, so on this, I'm going to stamp the outside, and I'm going to do that in Daffodil Delight. And you'll be able to see the images a little bit better. And I find, for myself anyway, that it was easier to stamp the outlines first and then the insides. Okay, so I have a good, I can see how much ink is on there. And we're going to die cut this. And so we just need to decide how we want to line it up. And then commit and press down firmly. And again, with a stamping mat, foam mat, or you could use a mouse pad too, you'll get a nice, you'll get a better impression, especially for these solid images. All right, so that's Daffodil Delight, which gives us a really nice rind for our lemons. And then we're all going to use the new color called Lemon Lolly for the inside. All right, you can already see how much lighter the ink pad is. All right, so here we have the inside, which is kind of, you know, the citrusy segments. We just need to make sure we stamp around and don't have any lines. All right, and then this just takes me a few seconds to figure out the orientation, because you gotta sort of line up all 3 and try to get an even border. In fact, I'm going to stand up so I can see better. I find if I line up the circle and the semicircle and then press, and then you just hold it there for a couple seconds, lift, and then there you go. So this one isn't, actually I did pretty well on that. This image, I've never gotten it so that it's sort of centered. It's sort of a little bit off center, but I think that looks great. And so now we actually have 4 lemon stamped images. All right. We will die cut those next. You can also stamp some leaves. I'll do that briefly. And we can die cut them to add some accents. So I'm using Granny Apple Green, but there's lots of greens that would look pretty. Okay. All right. All right. So for the die cutting, again, we're going to use the cut and emboss machine. Lined up. All right. So there we'll put our images, and then the dies for the sweet citrus dies. There is one big die that does all 4 of those images at once, which is awesome. So you just need to line it up. If you can always use Post-it tape or even just Post-it notes if you want to get them have the dies not shift around on you, especially if your plates are a bit warped. And it actually comes with 2 leaf dies, so you can do 2 for 1, but I stamp my images too close. We put on the top plate. And then we run it through. All right. Now we have lemons and leaves. All right. So I've got some other leaves already cut out, so we'll just use those. And we'll start to assemble our project. All right, and the scrap 4x5 is what I used for our little accents here. All right, so we've got our 4x6 or 1x6, and here's the folder. All right, so first I'm going to do the inside. So I mushed that a little bit, but that's okay. So we're creating 2 pockets right here. And there's a couple ways that you can do it. You can use tear and tape, which is a double-sided adhesive, or I've used multi-purpose glue as well. And what we want to do is put adhesive to close our pocket here on this seam, on this right-hand seam, and then a piece here as well. Okay. So we want it right up along the edge. Okay. You can also do it like this, and it tears very nicely. Okay, and then a third piece of adhesive. So these little notepad holders would make a great gift for somebody, and they're very inexpensive to and simple, frankly, to make. All right, and then you just tear off the double-sided, like the backing, I guess it's called. I think the take your pick tool would have been good here too. All right, so we'll take those off, and then we're going to close up our pockets. Now, if you have a thicker pad of paper, you can just increase this dimension. So this is a 1/4 inch. I have also done it with 3/8 of an inch. It's up to you. All right, so now we've got 2 little pockets. All right, now this is I would say the more important pocket. And this is gonna just like this. All right, and again, you could decorate the inside too if you wanted, but it's not mandatory. Okay, so we have this this stamped piece here. So we're gonna glue that down to here. I like to use, oh, see, I was playing earlier and I was stamping, testing this out. Anyway, again, DSP is the original design. So if you have scraps, this is a great way to use it up. 1 inch is, you often have 1 inch scraps around. So we'll glue that down. Okay. Let's try that again. Glue. And there we go. It's because I did it upside down. That's why I got myself confused. Okay, so that's quite pretty already. And what I want to do is take, so I've got 4 different lemon pieces here. And what I'm going to do is create a little collage of lemons on my card. So I could use dimensionals. I could glue them down straight. I'll probably do a mix. I think I'll put this solid lemon down first. And I'm just going to, just for visual, try to avoid this part. So I'm putting it more onto the right-hand side. I have some dimensionals that I will use to put these other ones down. You could also add some Wink of Stella to this if you were in the mood. Oh, and our little leaves. I think our little leaves would be a nice accent. We've got them on the outside panel here. Probably should have glued those on first. So So I think I'll just add a bit of glue to this. I'm going to save that for something in a minute. I'll show you. All right, so there's our little collection of lemons or citrus. And again, you could make grapefruits or limes, lots of different options. We'll save him for later. All right, so now we'll take our pad of paper, which I seem to have misplaced. Here it is. In this case, I think I'm going to remove this. If you had designer series paper, you could take a strip that was 4 inches and maybe 2 inches and wrap it around here to decorate it. I don't think I need to in this case. Or I could stamp it. And then you've got a cardboard backing, so that's just going to slip into here, into this little pocket. All right, and you've got a cute little pad. Now there's a secondary envelope here, and what you can do is put a little note card in there or something else. And I actually created a little note card, and Stampin' Up also has these 3-inch envelopes, and it's just a tiny little card. And I used actually this leftover piece and the little flowers that we used on the outside, and you could just write a little note saying hello. And I just kind of glued this here and then snipped off the excess, and then took the piece I cut off and added it to the outside. So this is just a 3-inch by 6-inch piece of thick whisper white or basic white cardstock to match the envelope, and then we'll just tuck it into here. So, all right, super cute. Now this will close. So to close it, there's kind of 2 options. So on this one, this one's like pretty tight. On this one, I used these tiny magnets I bought from Amazon. They're not expensive. They're 6 millimeters by 1 millimeter. I think I got 100 for like $10 or something. And there's a second magnet just mounted underneath here, so it closes. It's not super strong, but it's enough for our purposes. If you don't have magnets, you don't need them. And I'll show you how to create a little belly band, which is what I did here with this one, so that can just like slide on and off. All right, and in fact, when we had cut up our cardstock, we had this leftover strip of 3/4 inch, which actually is perfect for this. So we could score it, but you don't really need to. So I'm just gonna line this up straight using the grid paper. And I'm gonna, roughly align this in the middle. I'm gonna not do it over the lemons and I'm just gonna wrap this around. All right, and we can score it afterwards. Now this doesn't go quite all the way, but not to worry. All right, and what we'll do is create a little tag and a greeting, and then this will keep this closed when we're not using it. Okay. And in fact, we can score this properly now that we know where we want it. So we don't even have to measure. Although you certainly can if you want to. So again, this is a great design because you can keep it simple with just the paper, or you can do something more involved, like I did with the citrus if you feel like it. The key is to use up what you have. All right. All right, now we do have a gap, but we're gonna create a tag to close that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a scrap paper. So we have this leftover piece here, and I think I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo just so that it stands out. And there's a Thanks a Bunch stamp set, or stamp in the stamp set, but I think I just want the thanks. And so what I'm going to do is use a Post-it note. I'm going to cover up the A Bunch before I ink it. We'll just cover that up. It's called masking. And then we get the ink. And then remove the Post-it note, and I'm going to use the double oval punch for this. So I'm just going to stamp thanks there. Okay. And then we have the double oval punch, which has like a scalloped edge and a plain oval. So we'll just put this in here and try to center it-ish. All right, we have that. And then using a scrap of lemon lolly to coordinate, I've got this all mixed up. Coordinate this. We'll use this piece of scrap and we'll punch out the scalloped piece. Again, you can mix up the colors if you want. We'll just glue this down. I think the yellow would have, if I'd used yellow ink, would have just been a bit too pale for the greeting, I think. All right, and then we'll take this, wrap it around, and I think I'm going to use tear and tape. I could use glue, but I'll just have to make sure that I hold it. But if I put tear and tape, it'll bind right away. So I'm going to put it on here. A bit too much. All right. Or any other strong adhesive. So I did do my purple one with glue, but you just have to make sure you hold it while it's drying, that's all. Okay. A bit too long again. Okay. Take off the backing. A lot of people use tear and tape if they're making like boxes and other 3D items. A little bit of excess, we'll just roll it up. Okay. So we want to have that straightish and as tight as we want it to be. And then take our thanks. And there we go. And so now we have a belly band that will keep our thing closed. And we could add more. We could add some pearls or rhinestones if we wanted, but I don't think that's necessary. All right, and then they can pull it off and they can keep their notes. They've got a nice little card in here. And how great is that? You could keep this in your purse, or if it's too big, keep it by your home phone if you still have one. Lots of options. This one I did particularly tight. So that is our little project. All right. So again, here was the other one that I made. So this is using the Meadow dies. Oops. I just thought like this paper was so plain that it would be nice to add a little something. All right. And then here's the straight up DSP one. And these I just cut out from the Hues of Happiness DSP. All right, and here I added a little piece of designer series paper just over the top, just to dress up the notepad a bit. But here I used the magnets, but you don't need the magnets. Just very briefly, I'll show you a couple other cards using this stamp set. So again, you just need to use your imagination for different designs. Here's one with limes. So this is using Garden Green and Parakeet Party, which I think looks amazing. And so a very simple design. And here's another one with leaves and creating grapefruits using Flirty Flamingo and the little flowers. You can also, here are some other like little test ones. This was an idea I saw from somebody else where if you stamp in a dark brown, such as Early Espresso, the outline stamps, you can make coconuts, and then just with a watercolor or a water brush or whatever, add some subtle color to the inside, and you've got coconut suddenly, and so something very tropical. And here's some other limes I have left over. All right, so that's the card today, or they're not cards, our little project for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, in the description, I will include a link to a tutorial on how to, with the sizes and dimensions for this, as well as the supplies used today. So I hope you enjoyed this, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.